Hello, beautiful people. I am feeling heavily meditated today. I took a massive step back from social media after honestly kind of wasting way more time than I needed to on there for 2 days in a row. So yeah, I feel really good today. And what I want to talk to you about is actually this action of taking a step back and giving yourself a break sometimes, and how much you can allow that, or how much that allows you to actually propel yourself forward. So if you guys are anything like me, I'm sure that you have a massive to-do list and you feel like you can never ever get through it, and every day your goal is to tick off as many things as you possibly can, which is totally normal. That's like what we're taught to do, right? In school and in society and at jobs, we're taught to just get as many things done as possible. But when we do that, we are splitting up our focus into so many different things throughout the day that we never really get anything accomplished to the best of our ability. So yeah, that's really what I want to talk to you guys about today, is just how you can be super efficient and prioritize time for yourself. Because I think that's another strange thing about our culture, is that we're taught not to think and not to believe that we actually need any time to ourselves, that it is totally normal to, just be go, 24/7, never take a break, never stop, never sleep, never eat, never take a poop, just keep going all the time. And I call bullshit. I gotta say it. I do. I don't think that's true. I know it's not true. And I find that every time I take a big step back, that's when I realize how helpful it is when I slow the hell down. So this is honestly going to be a bit of a story, a bit of a me sharing my own tips. It's not structured at all. I don't have notes in front of me. So we're just going on this journey together. And neither of us knows how it's going to happen or what's going to come out of it. But I know that you guys are going to leave this feeling very uplifted and ready to take on the next day, no matter what is on your to-do list. So I'm going to just jump into it. So for the last, probably a couple of months, I've been really, really focusing on trying in my business and trying with relationships and trying with friends. I've just been putting so much energy into everything and not really prioritizing myself very much, not really giving myself any time to do the things that I want to do, or slow down and actually go to the yoga class I've been wanting to go to, or meditate as often as I like to, or anything like that. I've just been all about making sure that I'm giving everyone everything that I can. And it's exhausting. It's so exhausting. Trying to be there, for family, for friends, for my team, for my boyfriend, for everyone except for myself, right? And I think that's a really heavy burden, especially as women, that we take on. No matter if someone actually asks us to do that or not, it's just something that we intuitively do, because intuitively, we want to nurture people, we want people to feel good, we want people to be happy, we want all of these things, but we don't always recognize that sometimes what everyone else actually needs is for us to slow down and for us to take time to get to know ourselves better so that we can respond to them in better and more empowering ways, so that we can help other people overcome whatever they're going through. You know what I mean? So for the last few months, that's how I've been feeling. And funny enough, about, I think only a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. No, I think a week ago now. Wow. It's really funny how fast things can change. So about a week ago, my boyfriend was finally like, okay, you can't avoid this anymore. You're signing up for yoga classes. Just pick a place and sign up. So we spent a whole night going through a bunch of different things and looking at all the yoga places nearby. And I remember trying out multiple before I left for Australia last year, and I just never really fell in love with anywhere, and so he gave me a few other recommendations. Anyways, long story short on that, I finally picked a place, and I have committed myself to actually going to a class every single day for the last week. So I think I missed one day, and that's because I just got caught up doing other things, and I ended up being about 10 minutes late to class. Oopsies. And after that happened, the door was locked. So I couldn't actually even get in. So that was the only reason that I missed the class. But it's crazy how much of a difference I feel going to those classes and just being in that energy of all these other people who are relaxed, even if it's just for 1 hour. So I've noticed that there are so many people who come in and they're on their lunch break from work, or they finally got an hour away from their kids or whatever it is, and they create this space, they create this energy that they can take with them throughout the rest of their day. Even if they come in, or we come in, I guess, at 5 or 6 at night, we're still creating this new conscious place that we're going to be returning home to, if that makes sense. We aren't just letting the stress from the day carry on into dinner with our friends or dinner with our spouse or anything like that. Like, we're actually taking time to focus on ourselves and move forward. And the biggest thing that I've noticed that this has changed for me, like I'm saying, especially in this last week, is just I absolutely feel completely different afterwards. And I truthfully don't think that it's just the yoga that's doing it. I really think that the energy of the place that I'm going to is doing it. I think me forcing myself to shut off my phone for an hour and not talk to anyone, not be there for anyone, and 1,000,000% be there for myself, I think that is what's making the biggest difference, because I noticed that I'm showing up for my team completely differently. I'm showing up for my boyfriend completely differently. I'm showing up for my parents and my family completely differently. And even my perspective about my business is totally different, just because I'm kind of, I want to say being selfish, but it's not even really being selfish, obviously, just like with, when you're flying in a plane and they say, if something happens, put on your own oxygen mask before helping others. And I feel like it's the same way in life. Like, you've got to help yourself. You've got to de-stress yourself before you can help anybody else. Like, if your family is relying on you for comfort, for money, for support, for absolutely anything, how can they rely on you if you aren't showing up for yourself and setting your own standards for yourself and setting your own boundaries for yourself first? Because if you're not able to set your own boundaries for yourself and stick up for yourself about what it is, what your standards are and what you're okay with and what you're not okay with, if you're allowing yourself to walk all over your priorities and moving your priorities aside, it's going to be very easy for other people to do the exact same thing. So I think it's really, really important to be able to set up some kind of practice like that, where you actually get to make yourself a priority every single day, and you make that priority as if it is as important as a work appointment or a dentist appointment. I heard this scenario the other day that I thought was really funny but really true, and it's that when you schedule a dentist appointment, you don't flake out last minute. You don't call in and be like, sorry, can't go. You don't just not show up, because that means you're probably not going to get another dentist appointment for a month, 2 months, 6 months, who knows how long it's going to be, right? You don't do that with a dentist appointment. So treat your self-care the same way. Whether you're giving yourself 5 minutes every single morning to just sit in silence before the kids wake up, before whatever else in your world is going on, before you turn your phone on, just something, schedule that time and prioritize it. So, I really feel such a difference doing this, and I really wanted to share this with you guys. So my biggest tips really for helping de-stress and slow down, my first one would be turning off the notifications on your phone. So I I think for about 2 years now, I've had all my notifications for social media completely turned off. The only time that I see what's going on social media is when I choose to open it up. I also deleted Facebook and Instagram from my phone for a long time. So I did that for, I think, like 3 or 4 months a couple of years ago. I probably need to do that again because I felt like my self-control was really, really good when I did that, because obviously it's just not as easily accessible. But because I do use both of those for my business now, I like having them be very conveniently close to me. So, whatever. Tough choice. But yeah, that's my first tip, is really just shutting off those notifications so that you get to consciously, not consistently, so that you get to consciously choose when you're going to be social. So that way you aren't just open to being social all the time. You're not just open to receiving messages, whether it's a text message, someone tagging you in some random video on Facebook, someone commenting or liking a picture on Instagram. You don't need notifications of all of that stuff, and it really is changing the chemical makeup of your brain. And so I think social media is a brilliant tool. I think it's really, really smart, and it's really, really helpful. We need to set boundaries between ourselves and social media, so that we don't get completely caught up in social media and in the online world, and we're grounded enough to still remain human too. So that is my first tip. Also, turning off email notifications. Oh my goodness, I don't think I've ever had email notifications turned on because they drive me absolutely nuts, honestly. But with that being said, I set myself times to go in and check these things. So this could also count as a tip if you're overwhelmed with feeling like you're always connected or always on social media or anything like that. Just set yourself a certain amount of time. If you use Instagram or Facebook for business, maybe set yourself an hour at a certain time of the day, every single day, maybe multiple times a day, where your sole purpose is to go into Facebook and do whatever it is that you need to do. Whether that is catching up on everything that has, all of your stuff that's been commented on, or if that's you reaching out and commenting on other people's things, just set that time and then let it go. You don't have to think about it for the rest of the day. Maybe keep your Facebook Messenger notifications turned on if those aren't super crazy for you and they're important and you like being able to respond to those as they come in. But if they are something that's overwhelming, do the same thing. Just schedule it out. Be like, okay, every day at this time, I'm going to check all my Facebook messages and respond to them. Do the same thing with Instagram. Do the same with your emails. And that way you're not spending the entire day going through all of the apps and checking, okay, do I have anything new here? Do I have anything new there? Or leaving all the notifications on and, getting buzzed every 2 minutes. So, yeah, that's my first big tip. And then my next tip is to find something that you can actually do every single day that relaxes you. And unfortunately, I can't give you an answer on that. It's going to be very different for every single person. But for some people, it's going to be going to a yoga class every single day, or following a yoga class on YouTube, or, whatever, something like that. For some people, it's going to be meditating every day. So whether that is, again, going to a class or downloading an app. By the way, my favorite app it's just called the Calm app. Super duper simple. It's blue. And it's amazing. They have all different kinds of meditations. They literally walk you through, even if you're a beginner, they walk you through what to be doing, and they help you learn how to not judge the thoughts that come up, because the point of meditation is not to remove all of your thoughts. We're human, that's not possible. You will always have thoughts going on, but the purpose of meditation is to help you slow down and just acknowledge your thoughts without getting super focused on them or making a big story out of them. So what tends to happen with most people is once you start focusing on that, once you start meditating and I guess releasing the focus rather than focusing on it, is that you're able to do that more throughout the day. So when one of your coworkers comes in and they're in a super cranky mood and they're trying to bring you down, you can just come back to that place you were in earlier in the day, breathe, and just let that go. Let that energy just bounce right off of you and go right into the trash can, because you don't want that and you don't have to accept it. So that is one of my second big tips. So I guess I only said yoga and meditating. Maybe it's going on a walk. Maybe it's literally just around your block. Maybe it's like a 10-minute walk. Maybe it's a 30-minute walk. Doesn't really matter. But if that relaxes you, do it. Make it a priority. Maybe that is playing with your dog and being away from family or roommates or whoever you're around for an hour every single day. Maybe it is blasting music in your car for an hour. It doesn't really matter what it is. It could be journaling, it could be reading, it could be listening to music, it could be so many different things. The fun part is you get to choose. Another one of my favorites is actually, they're just called Rampage meditations on YouTube. All of them that I've found are by Abraham Hicks. And so this isn't so much slowing your mind down and doing nothing, but rather allowing your mind to pick up lots of positive energy very, very quickly. So she goes through probably hundreds or thousands of affirmations in minutes, in like sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 10, sometimes 15, sometimes way longer than that. But a rampage is just very, very, very quickly, rapid fire going through them. And I find that those help a lot as well, with just not giving your mind any space to let any negative energy, negative thoughts in at all. Yeah, it's very interesting stuff. So, I think that's actually all that I have as far as my tips for finding ways to slow down in your life. Actually, I have one more. So, my very last one is super duper simple. Everyone can do it right now. I'm going to do it with you right now. And it's just called taking a real deep breath. And it's actually really, really healthy if you take around 100 deep breaths every single day anyways. So, yeah, let's just do that right now. Take a really deep breath in through your nose and let it out through your mouth. And see how different you feel in that span of 3 seconds. Ready? Okay, let's do this. Even just that, I feel like it slows everything down so much. And you can do that as many times as you want, as many times as you would like throughout the day. So there's no limit on breathing. You can do that as much as you want. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. And if it was, please share it with a friend. Share the screenshot of it on your social media, on your Instagram story. Be sure to tag me, because I love re-sharing you guys sharing this. So yeah, if this was helpful, please share it with somebody, because I really just want to help other people. That's the whole purpose of this podcast, is to give people the tools that they are looking for and that they need, but they don't want to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for, to talk with a coach or a therapist or somebody else like that. So if this was helpful, please share it. And thank you guys so, so, so much for listening to this episode. I hope you have a wonderful day. And yeah, I'll see you next time.